Hey everyone, have I here, bro? Video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. In this video, we're going to be breaking down the EZA 2, the Dokkan Festival exclusive Captain Ginyu, and the rest of the Ginyu Force. So with that, if you're new to my channel, like, subscribe, comment below, do all that good stuff. Let's go ahead and dive right in. And as expected, we are getting the EZAs to the Dokkan Festival exclusive Captain Ginyu Goku. And then also the banner units in the INT Jeice and Burter and the STR Recoome and Guldo. So, I think most people were expecting this because this unit was on the banner and he's also on mission execution. So I did a previous video, from this video here, talking about the speculation of what the EZA may look like, and I'll tell you what, my version is a lot better. However, they did a okay job in terms of the EZA for this unit here. It is going to be more useful on a full Ginyu Force team than it would be on mission execution. So let's do a comparison between the version that I created and then the real version that ended up coming out in the Twitter X page. So first and foremost, this was easy to figure out, right? The Terrifying Conqueror's Panic Lama Saga, 170%, and then you only get the 1+1 extra key, and then 30% to Space Driving Warriors. This is going to be all the same for all EZAs that are 170% and 30% or 200% leads that are Dokkan Festival exclusive. So we already know what that's going to be. However, I was expecting this to be greatly raises defense versus raises defense, because that's a 30% boost versus a 50% boost. But what they ended up doing actually was raises defense and then just add attack for one turn. I'm not a fan of that. They really should have made this a 50% boost to make it more relevant. But 30% is still fine. It's still a strong stacking ability. But I really wish they would have changed that on there. So I think my version, of course, is better. And the funny thing is, when we break down the Ginyu Goku change, that's what they did. They greatly raises attack versus adding just the additional attack on this one. Anyway, as I expected, it just boosted up to 200%, because this is just kind of the baseline what you see these days. On my version, I said, hey, let's just add an additional super attack so we can stack more. Well, they didn't do that, and they only changed it to a high, which that's what I expected here, because previously it was a medium chance of additional attack with a medium chance of becoming a super attacker. So they did boost it up a little bit. Would have been nice just to see then great chance if they didn't add like an additional super attack. So of course that my version is better. Now they did add damage reduction 20% baseline here, and I still think my version would have worked out a little bit better, focusing on adding this team or adding this unit into a mission execution or Ginyu Force. But they just did a baseline there, which is fine. They then added category ally Ginyu Force of a 60% boost. I didn't think they would boost it up at all, or even this high. And then also they provided 20% crit chance to all Ginyu Force allies as well. Now what they didn't add on here, which I did add, was extreme class allies boost, but they ended up not doing that. It would have been nice to just have an additional buff that is not Ginyu Force. Again, they're just really trying to make this unit focus more on a full Ginyu Force team than it would be for mission execution. I think they should have added some sort of mission execution. So when attacking with 12 ki or more, it's a 150% boost straight up. So I thought it was only going to 100, but they ended up actually boosting 150, which is better than my version. But they did add defense when it was just attack. Now per Ginyu Force category ally on the team, it's attack and defense 20% up to 100%, which that's why I figured they ended up doing. I added or mission execution category allies on the team, and I think that would have created some sort of diversity so you can use this unit in other situations rather than a full Ginyu Force team. And then here's where I added an additional 50% damage mitigation. If you had these characters and allies on the team, you can get up to 50%. Now this one has 20% baseline, but then you do have an additional 30% here, this extra. I'll talk about this in a second. So you still have 50%, so we're kind of on the same page. Now when there's another Ginyu Force category ally on the team, again I added mission execution. effective against all types, and then high chance of launching additional super attack. I added guard and then this like extreme class buff. I think most people would rather have this, but I can see, you know, how or why they would add. This is kind of new. Like I don't see too many units with this. It just says high chance of launching additional super. It was just like launch additional super attack or a launches additional attack with a high chance. So it would have been nice to have launches an additional attack versus just a chance of doing a super attack. But that, of course, that does provide additional stacking ability on there. And then for 1 turn from the character's entry turn, or when HP is 70% or more at the start of the turn, you'll get an additional 30% to damage mitigation and crit. So as long as you are above 70% HP or after the first turn, you're going to get 50% damage mitigation. Now, one of the reasons why they gave you an opportunity to get hit or lose some HP is because for the body change condition, your HP needs to be 70% or less starting from the 4th turn. So I think that's why they kind of added an opening to do some damage, and then they gave you a little bit of extra boost if you're above 70% HP. Make sense? Hopefully you guys make sense on that. Anyway, I think my version's better. So, of course, getting some additional support so you can run this on other teams and other mission execution teams would have been much better. But still, this is fine, right? This is still, you know, can get you to the 4th turn, because what they actually end up doing for Ginyu Goku is they kind of want you to go ahead and transform into Ginyu Goku, whereas over here you kind of would have been staying on just this version and just continue to stack and stack and stack. So when you change into Ginyu Goku, here's my speculation here. Let's make the comparison again. So this stays the same, right? Recovers. So what they ended up doing for the super attack was exactly what I thought they were going to do, just add greatly to Raise's attack. They didn't add, but here's what it would have been nice if they would have just did Raise's attack and then defense for 1 turn. Kind of went back the version over here, right? Where am I going here? Right here, where they added attack for 1 turn. It would have been nice to maybe have them add defense for 1 turn. Anyway, I went to 220, but they actually did better here. They went to 250. So, and then added 1 key as well. I kept additional guaranteed super attack. This has a great chance. So this is kind of a in between, right? So instead of having a high chance and then a guaranteed super, which is very, very OP, right here, this just provides you a great chance, which is nice. They don't have the support anymore. However, you get the attacks effective against all types and then damage mitigation at 50% guaranteed. It's just boom here for you. So that's nice. That's better than what I was kind of creating here. And then when attacking, 150% to attack, which would have been nice to have attack and defense, and then chance of performing critical hit 50%, and then a great chance of an additional super attack. Would have been just nice to give him a guaranteed additional super attack like I just did over here. Now, when receiving attack, you're going to get a defense 150%. Okay, that's kind of what they matched up here. So it's kind of the same. They removed the when attacking with 12 key or more. So it's the same here, attack and defense 150%. So when attacking and receiving attack. And then you have a 50% chance to evade. Now, I said let's move it to 70%. Or a chance to move up to 70%, but I guess they just kept that 50% here, and then right here, just like how I thought it was foresees enemy super attack versus the high chance of foresees enemy super attack when there's a Jeice on the team. So again, I still think mine is better. They have this action over here, which is nice. I added what did I add here that? I think for 1 turn it was just guaranteed. Yeah, so for 1 turn I said it was guaranteed crit and guaranteed evasion so that you can boost up your evasion on here. And then my version did not have damage mitigation. So this one has damage mitigation and a 50% chance of evasion. So it's not technically dodge or die, but hopefully you stack well enough so that the 50% damage mitigation with your stats is going to be good enough, right? So I think, again, very solid, easy A, playable, but the biggest issue is kind of stuck on a Ginyu Force team, and it would have been nice to have an opportunity to kind of what I did over here, mission execution. So that's my kind of the only negative. I really wish they would have added some sort of mission execution on there. Now, on top of this, they ended up actually easying these units as well. So the Jeice and Burter unit on here. Who cares about the leader skill? But the super attack is raises attack and defense for 1 turn, causes supreme damage to enemy, and then raises allies attack and defense by 20% for 1 turn. Then you get attack and defense 200%. Launches additional attack with a high chance of becoming super attack. Great chance of evasion. So remember, this is definitely a dodge type unit. However, they did provide space traveling warriors or special post category allies key +3 40% boost on there. So, and then for every attack performed, attack and defense 50% up to 200, so 4 attacks is what they're looking for. And then when receiving a super attack, additional 10%, so you have a 80% chance of dodging a super attack with the 70% and an 80% chance here. But then when there is another Ginyu attacking the same turn, you're gonna have a 90% chance of evading a super attack, and then an 80% chance of dodging, regular attacks. And then all allies, here's kind of the kicker, they added this on here, which is nice. All allies attack and defense 30% for 2 turns. Makes this unit, I think, pretty good. But again, this is kind of a dodge or die unit. If you think about the stats and everything on here, I don't think it's enough to take a hit, let alone a super attack. But you have a 90% chance. You have a 10% chance of pretty much dying. So that's the Jeice Burter. Now, the Recoome and Guldo, it's more of a tanking unit, right? So it greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn, causes supreme damage to enemies, and greatly lowers attack and defense. Attack and defense 200%, damage reduction 30%, great chance of guarding all attacks. Which you might go, oh, that sucks, that's a chance. But if your ally is with Ginyu on the team, it's a guaranteed guard, right? So seals attack. Seal the attack enemy super attack. After guard is activated, defense 100%, launches additional attack, has a high chance of becoming super attack. When you have 12 key or more, additional attack defense 50%. And then for every attack received, because again, more of a tanking type unit, attack and defense 20% up to 100. I wish they could have boosted this up a lot higher, like 200% or something like that. And then when there's another ally that's Ginyu on the team, guards, damage reduction 30%. So that's a 60% damage mitigation, and guard, and some stats here, and then stuns the attacked enemy, ability to do that. So if it is stunnable, it is guaranteed stun, right? Guaranteed stun. That's crazy strong. So this actually works very well if you have a rotation that Tao's on there, because Tao just destroys people that can be stunned. Anyway, so that's what they ended up doing here. It's solid. It's fine. He's going to be able to, take a lot of damage there with guarding and 60% damage mitigation, which had a little bit more stat boosts ability on here. But like a Jeice Burter or some other support's going to be supporting this unit on here, along with Ginyu. So if Ginyu is on the same rotation, which you want to have this running the same rotation, remember he's providing a 60% boost and a 20% crit to Ginyu Force category allies. So I think with that, this unit actually should be pretty tanky when we test it out. So he used to be like a great first position unit, and now it looks like he's going to be a pretty decent first position unit as well. So we'll see. So there you have it, boys and girls. That's the breakdown for the basically the Ginyu Force EZA. I will do another full breakdown, I guess, with some team builds to see if this team is actually viable. Can this team actually break the top 10 or even top 15? It's interesting. I think if they had some sort of mission execution dynamic on this team, it would have worked out better versus just supporting Ginyu Force. But yeah, I think they still did a pretty decent job. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you're new to my channel, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Thank you all for watching. Keep on Dokkaning. We'll catch you next time. Later.